Good evening, guys. Lovely to be on this evening, joining you from North County, Galway, not Dublin, like I said last week. Welcome to anyone watching from my replay or anyone watching from my YouTube channel. So you can see that today's title is 3 ways to dramatically improve all relationships. So, hi Vanessa, nice to see you join me. So what I'd like to say is the most important relationship that you have is the relationship with yourself. And this is going to determine all your relationships, the basis of all your relationships, because you're the one who decides how you want to be treated. So remember, self-love, self-approval and self-acceptance have to be number 1 for you to dramatically improve all relationships and to have them come from a place of understanding, compassion, forgiveness, kindness. And that might sound very airy-fairy, but that's actually where the basis of all relationships come from, so that we can live in as much harmony as peace as we can in relationships. And the interesting fact is, what irritates us in another is really what's in ourselves. So basically, the number 1 way that I would suggest for relationships dramatically improving is, number 1, let go of all expectations. Because when we have expectations of another and they don't meet the standard, we will get hurt. And then we try to control another on that. So number 1, let go of all expectations. Expecting things from others is okay, but if it creates difficulty or hurt or pain and you feel you've been hurt by somebody, nobody actually can hurt you. We get hurt. It's our response and our reaction to the situation. It's our perception around the situation. So no one ever actually, it might feel like that people have hurt us, but it's how we see the situation. Now, that can be quite broad. We're talking about relationships where if you're talking about general relationships and people are far away, remember it is our reaction to the situation. So if we feel like we're getting hurt, in a lot of cases it can be our expectations of what we expect from another. So just remember that people are only human and we have to try and see that they are doing the best that they can. So number 1, let go of all expectations and control in whatever ways we might try to be controlling of other people. We have to let that go so that we can be free ourselves. And the basis, as I said, of all relationships is how we treat ourselves and the self-approval we have of ourselves. So all relationships span off that. Number 2, I would say is, hi Aideen, nice to see you joining. Number 2, the second way I would say is to improve all relationships is do not react. Now, of course, this is extremely or can be extremely difficult if you're living in close proximity to people and they are irritating the life out of you. And of course you want to react. But the number 1 problem is, once you react, you're in the ring and you're both the same as each other. What you have to do is, if you want to keep peace and unity and harmony within yourself, you need to put that out there. I can understand it's a very hard place to work from, but it's something that needs to be learned. If this is a problem for you, reacting, you can learn how not to. And one simple way of starting that process would be to meditate. Consistent meditation can help with that. But you must find ways of releasing your irritations towards that person, or just general irritations that you have, so that you don't react. And if it's one person in particular, you don't want to react to them, but you also don't want to be out in the world reacting to everybody, going around like a bull and creating stress and anxiety and harm to yourself, because that's no way to live. That's not a nice way to live. So you must learn how, make it a priority that you learn how not to react. This is really, really important. Okay, and so tip 3 would be, self-talk is massive when it comes to wanting relationships to be a certain way. How you, as I said, how you treat yourself, but how you speak to yourself is crucial. So please, please, please try and become aware of your thoughts, because a lot of cases in a lot of situations, we're not aware of our self-talk. Becoming aware of how we speak to ourselves is absolutely vital, and turning it around into self-compassion, understanding, forgiveness. Hi Una, nice to see that you're watching. Self-talk is absolutely massive when it comes to this stuff. So remember how you treat yourself. You need to treat yourself. You need to learn how to accept yourself, warts and all. Approve of yourself and love yourself. Put it at the top of your list, because if you keep attracting certain relationships into your life, now I'm talking about all relationships, not just intimate relationships. I'm talking about every interaction that you have with every human being is determined by how you see yourself. So if you are having difficulty in a relationship, and it's an ongoing difficulty, and you don't see any change, and it just keeps coming back around, well, the bad news for you is you won't like this. Something needs to change in you. Something needs to change in you. Otherwise, this is going to keep going round and around and around and around. And usually that something is actually based on self-love, self-approval and self-acceptance. Now, that may sound very simplistic, and yes, it is very simplistic, but to work on that stuff is something that needs to be consistent and practiced, and it starts with your self-talk. So make yourself a top priority, because you deserve it and you're worthy of it. You're worthy of peaceful, harmonious, joyful, beautiful, wonderful relationships, but it needs to start with yourself. You cannot have them relationships if you don't have it with yourself. So guys, I hope that was helpful and beneficial this evening. Lovely to be on, and thanks for joining me, guys. It was really nice. Remember, you have this, you can have this, you deserve it, we all do. And so I'm offering a 30-minute free complimentary coaching call to discuss any of these issues and to dig deep around if you have any trouble with a relationship. And remember, everything is confidential. And if you would like to jump on a call with me, just PM me, and you can, I'm offering a 30-minute complimentary call around this situation. So I hope everybody is staying safe under the current situation and trying to stay calm, and knowing that all is really well and all will be well. So I'll leave you there. Have a lovely evening. Bye, guys.